Hello and welcome to the July 11th episode of This Week in Kirkland, the official podcast of the City of Kirkland, bringing you timely topics and noteworthy news delivered to you every week. I'm your host, Jim Lopez, one of two deputy city managers here at the city, joined today by two members of our podcast team.
Hello, I'm Sue Romero.
And David Wolbrecht.
As well as our beloved special guest. Our very special guest.
Very beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Councilmember Penny Sweet.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. We've been really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
We have a lot of questions. And I'm sure we all have a lot of stories.
Indeed.
Well, so we're excited to hear all about your role on the City Council, and we'll talk a little bit about the Meet the Council video series. But before we do, here are the topics we're covering this week.
Just a few announcements. Upcoming due dates for National Night Out applications, a preview of the upcoming City Council meeting, and also a Recycle Right event that's coming
that's going to be fun.
We have more on keeping pets safe during the heat. Very important. Also, some electrical safety tips for summer. An update on the city's network disruption, and catch a movie in the park.
We're a very pet-friendly podcast, Penny.
That's a good thing.
Yes, yes. And a reminder that we always have links and more information in the show notes for all of our items. But first, my friends, our big story of the week: the city is hosting an open house to discuss the future of Houghton Village, and we want your vision to help shape this amazing new community opportunity.
The open house is coming up on July 15th
Yep.
at 5:30 right here at City Hall.
So what's all this about, you might be asking? So the city acquired this 2-acre property in the Everest neighborhood because it offers a strategic opportunity to accomplish multiple important community benefits. We're talking affordable housing,
Yep.
school capacity, nonprofit program space, retail, shops, things like that.
So many great stuff. And we're going to talk about all that stuff at the open house. It's going to be, we have great visuals. It's going to be really participatory. So as David said, the open house will have several stations covering different topics. No registration is required, and parking is available right on site.
Come on down.
So don't forget, National Night Out is on August 6th. If you'd like to invite our police, our crisis responders, our fire personnel, and our city council to your block party, you have until July 23rd to submit a request.
National Night Out is a great time to meet first responders, council members, your neighbors, people down the street, everybody.
You planning to go, Councilmember Sweet?
I've done it every year.
Yeah.
I actually lead the event for my neighborhood. So
awesome.
It's a great opportunity for us to refresh our maps, to have our discussions with regard to neighborhood safety, and we generally do a fire extinguisher training.
So they get a twofer. They get you to organize it. And
It's like barbecue and a training.
Exactly.
I love that.
And ice cream sometimes.
That's right.
So remember, folks, permits for street closures and requests for visits, all that is due by July 23rd.
yes, the next meeting of the Kirkland City Council is on Tuesday, July 16th. And when we have council members on the show, I always want to turn to them and say, hey, what's going on?
What's coming up?
What's coming up? Well, here's what is coming up on the agenda. On the business agenda, the council will consider updates to the official city flag. That's going to be a fun project.
Yeah, no, Kelly talked about this. This
Yeah.
is very exciting.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the creation of the flag. David, you're kind of running that.
I am, yeah.
process.
So update to come on the process that we're bringing back to council.
Council will also consider amendments to the Kirkland zoning code to related development on Goat Hill.
And prior to the business agenda, what's on the study session is a discussion on the future of the Houghton Village development plan. We talked about that for that open house. Also discussing the project list for Transportation Strategic Plan.
Yes, and council meetings are streamed on the city's YouTube channel, Facebook page, and the city website, so be sure to tune in. So we wanted to give you a quick update on the network disruption we mentioned last week. Now, most of the city of Kirkland services are fully operational. Now, city IT staff and consultants continue to work to return all city services to regular status, and we do anticipate that to occur soon.
That's right. So for background, a couple weeks ago, the city experienced unauthorized access to its internal network. Out of an abundance of caution and in consultation with the city's security consultant, city IT staff proactively shut down access to some city network functionality. This unfortunately resulted in some city services being delayed or inaccessible. However, 911 and public safety services remained fully operational throughout this network disruption, and city facilities remained open for business.
City IT staff and consultants continue to assess any potential impacts from the unauthorized network access. They're working around the clock,
They really
pretty
are.
much.
They're working really hard, and we hope to be back up soon.
Well, and good news, we had Wi-Fi in the park yesterday for,
That's right.
for the market.
Yay!
Yes. Absolutely. That is good news.
Yeah, we're coming around. Okay, so quick question.
Yes.
Did you miss a few things during spring cleaning this year?
I can neither confirm nor deny, Jim.
Or like me, did you miss spring cleaning?
Right.
Well, Jim, you're in luck. So Waste Management is hosting another recycling event on August 3rd at Lake Washington Institute of Technology.
So if you're a Kirkland resident, there's no cost to recycle any of the accepted items.
No
So
cost.
Yeah.
Go through your garage.
If it's accepted.
Clean it out.
Yeah, and
clean
so all
it
that
out.
info's on the event webpage. You can find that on the city's website.
Yes.
And link in the show notes.
So there's hope for people like me.
Yes, there is.
Always, Jim.
Always.
Ironically, we broke our barbecue.
Oh,
So-
well, hey.
Exactly.
Do we have an
Is that
event
a
for you?
candidate?
That's right.
We have an event.
So they consider it reusable metal.
Oh,
So-
right. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, the metal's still good.
Perfect example. Perfect
Exactly.
example. All right. Well, folks, it's been hot.
Fact.
Yes, while temps might be cooling slightly, it's important to remember that even mild temperatures can be dangerous for pets left in cars.
And we've talked about this
We
a
have.
lot. Even for a few minutes, car temperatures can rise fast. 70 degrees outside doesn't feel like much to us, possibly, but inside a car, it could shoot to 90 degrees within minutes.
Parking in the shade or leaving the window down, unfortunately, will not be enough to keep a pet cool. So it's really important. Be mindful of our little furry family members.
And this safety tip brought to you by our own animal control officer, Angela Arnold,
Thank you, Angela.
along with a friendly reminder to license your pets.
Yes, got to license your pet.
Yes.
Big deal there. You got to license your pet. Okay, in an effort to stay cool this summer, many of us are relying on air conditioners and or in David's case, I think an intricate network of mathematically aligned fans. You got all the angles. Yes.
Ice cubes involved in this.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Deny that.
Tell me you're not linking extension cords. That's what.
It is.
This morning we actually were
we
a
will
little.
not disclose that.
Okay, yeah, we won't disclose that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So they are perfectly angled. It is
Yes.
really a mathematical experience.
Yeah.
So, David, this is for you. Some
Okay, thank you.
electrical safety tips from the Kirkland Fire Department.
Only plug in one heat-producing appliance at a time into an outlet, David, just like air conditioners. And also, major appliances, the big ones like refrigerators, washers, and air conditioners should be plugged directly into the wall outlet, not a little extension cord or power strip.
We busted. We were running late this morning because I was like, for our kind reader or kind listeners, we do a read through of the topic the day before we record.
Yes, we do.
So yesterday we were reading through this one. I was like, oh, I gotta swap out an
change
air
it.
conditioner. So this morning we were running late because I was like, oh yeah, I didn't move the plug from the extension or from the power strip to the wall. So noted.
Yes. And so also,
and we're now safe.
when you are doing that, when you're unplugging your electrical cords, take a look, make sure they're not damaged or cracked or loose. Good advice at any temperature
Yes.
of the day.
Good advice. Okay. Would you know how to help others in the event of a disaster before first responders arrive? That's a really good question.
Well, learn about what to do in our community emergency response training class.
Councilmember Sweet, you're CERT trained, aren't you?
Absolutely. I'm twice cert
Twice?
trained.
Twice.
Wow.
Double.
I was in one of the original classes.
Nice.
And then I was also on the Emergency Management Advisory Council for 6 years.
Oh, yeah, that'll
so
do it.
Had refreshers there.
Yeah.
And then again, we did it for the full council just last year.
Nice.
And what types of things did you learn real quick?
Oh, we learned how to extricate people from vehicles, buildings.
Wow. Oh
my God.
How to
Like fire extinguisher training.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Did you
Like
get
some first aids?
Did you get one of those helmets that I covet?
I have two. You want one?
Maybe we can make a deal off.
You got it.
Yeah, because the graduates, they come into council and it's really a cool ceremony. They all slap high fives.
Right.
It's really great.
So if you would like a hat, class series start early August. Sign up by July
Don't
30th.
sleep on the hat. They're really cool.
No, and it is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Really
is.
fun.
It's a
And
huge
important.
learning, a huge bonding with other citizens, and a connection to your neighborhoods. Because we've got in my neighborhood alone, 44 houses. We have 6 trained.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
certs.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
great.
That's
That is great.
There's a standard to live up to.
Right?
Okay, are you looking for a family-friendly event outside? Well, if you are, our beloved outdoor summer movie series is back. We love this.
And this is the perfect time to kick back, relax, take your shoes off, enjoy the PG or PG-13 shows.
And so Saturdays in the park, starting this Saturday, the 13th, will feature 2 movies starting at 6 and 8 p.m. And that's Elemental and La La Land, respectively, for the
okay.
kickoff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Big fan of, I haven't seen Elemental.
Well, hey, you can come on down to...
but big fan
neither.
of La La Land. That's one of my favorites.
So bring a blanket or a lawn chair and snacks. There will be popcorn by a vendor if you're interested. If
I'm not
you're
sure that... Yeah,
interested?
why did we say if? There's going to be a popcorn.
Am I dating myself or...
Who wouldn't be interested?
Exactly.
Councilmember Sweet, am I dating myself or when they say Saturdays in the park? Saturday.
You're dating yourself.
Yes, Jim, you are.
I
Very
just hear the
definitely.
song. I hear the song.
It's
I'm
Chicago,
sorry.
right?
I think it's Chicago. Yeah. Well, you're right in there with me now.
Oh, great.
Good job, Sue.
Well done, Sue. Thank you. And while we're on the topic of outdoor events, the Kirkland Summer Concert Series has been recognized as one of the top 10 best outdoor concert series in the nation. And last time I looked, my friends, it's a pretty big nation.
I think so.
Congratulations, us.
So well-deserved. Kirkland Downtown Association providing this yearly staple for over 40 years.
Haven't checked them out yet? There are concerts every Thursday night in July and August right at Marina Park.
Yes, big fun.
And there are children's concerts every Tuesday at Juanita Park.
Thank you.
Check it out.
Check it out. And that brings us to our 5 over 5. 5 questions in what is sure to be over 5 minutes. In this case, it could be over 5 hours.
And perfectly enjoyable.
And perfectly enjoyable. Welcome, Council Member Penny Sweet.
Thank God you can edit this.
Yes, we're going to get right into a lot of fun stories, and you're here to share what it's like to be a council member. And we're going to talk about the Meet the Council video series, which is a lot of fun. But first, we'd like to get to know you a little bit. So, Council Member Sweet, how did you come to Kirkland?
Well, in 1984, my husband and I decided to buy a wine shop. It was 1 year old, and we bought the Grape Choice for $7,000.
Wow.
Okay.
It had $3,500 worth of wine product in it, and we decided that if we were going to be successful, then we had to get involved in our community, and it needed to be successful. So we immediately jumped in. We joined the chamber.
Wow.
We joined boards. We've joined... We just got active. I was on the Kirkland Arts Center board. Larry was on the original KPC board. We just knew that in order for us to be successful, we had to assure that Kirkland was successful right along with us. So,
I didn't know that. The Grape Choice was your kind of ticket into Kirkland.
absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting.
We did it over a bottle of wine.
How fitting, yeah.
Of course you
We
did.
made a list of why we should do it and another list of why we shouldn't do it, and we first list won.
Where were you coming from?
I actually was an administrator for group health in
That's right.
Seattle
Yes,
and
talking
East Side for 31 years. So I was the one paying the bills. Larry was selling the wine, learning the wine business, but we fell in love with it. Wine has been a beautiful hobby and sideline for both of us. We've learned so much over the years. We've been able to travel, and we've become a solid part of the downtown vibe.
Yeah.
The Grape Choice is it's one of the heartbeats of Kirkland.
Yeah.
On the 4th of July, we went there to have a beer afterwards because it was so hot. And there wasn't room for anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anybody. It was absolutely packed, and it was fabulous. And it's all friends.
I know the Grape Choice obviously through you, but my experience is that the Grape Choice was headquarters for the Celebrate Kirkland parade. We would just every year it was perfect.
Yep, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's been a transition to have the city take it over, but Celebrate Kirkland. All of the meetings happened there. All of the meetings for the centennial happened there. Yeah.
Great
Wow.
stuff. So, Councilmember Sweet, didn't know this, but the Grape Choice actually brought you to the city of Kirkland. That's so cool. Now, the Grape Choice also introduced you to one of your passions.
It did.
Tell us about that.
Well, one of the things that we were really big into in owning a bottle shop was recycling. and reuse.
Yeah.
So it was really easy to recycle when you're just pouring wine all the time because you got bottles all over the place, right? So we recycled all of our bottles. And we were also getting shipments of wine in wooden boxes with wine labels on them and wine words on them, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I started building wine boxes out, or wine, display cases.
Wow.
So eventually the entire shop was filled with nothing but displays of my boxes.
So
Oh my
you're
gosh.
taking the boxes in.
Like repurposing them.
Repurposing.
Exactly.
And, like,
that was the whole
recrafting.
point. And then I decided that because I've got hundreds of these in my roof or in my ceiling at home. So then I decided that maybe I should build some things with the boxes besides just the wine racks. I was asked by one of my customers to build her something for her kitchen.
Oh, wow.
So I built her a pot display
Out of the wine boxes?
out of the wine boxes,
I
and I
love
put
it.
lids on it. It was kind of cool, so she could just have it tucked away in a corner in her kitchen. And that's when I started my sort of project to earn a lot of money for charity.
Oh.
So I started
wow.
making boxes, chests, end tables, all
Wow.
kinds. And now I make potting benches.
This is all self-taught.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's fun too. I mean, it's really, once you get into it, it's just it's so soothing, and you can take a lot of abuse as a city council person. So,
But then you go home
and then you
and you
go
make a
home.
beautiful creation for charity, and it's all good.
yeah, my goal was to earn $10,000 worth of charity for charities.
Did you make that goal?
I made that goal 10 times.
Wow. Bravo, Councilmember
That's amazing.
Sweet. Okay, so now that you've been here so long and you have become such a part of the fabric of this community, tell us some things you love about Kirkland.
I've been thinking about this question, and what I really came down to, the nuts and bolts of what I love about Kirkland, are in 2004, my team, our Celebrate Kirkland team, was asked to participate in the development of the Centennial Celebration.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Which was a full year event, starting with the sort of a historical event at the KPC. The middle of the year, we had a huge 4th of July celebration with fireworks both in downtown Kirkland and at Juanita Beach.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That was a lesson. Don't do fireworks at Juanita because Juanita's a bowl.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so we literally broke glass
Did
on
you
the hill.
really?
The herons left.
Oh,
the
my
eagles left.
Not good.
They were gone for a couple weeks. I had a
man.
I had a
You
deep,
kinda- you-
abiding relationship with the Audubon Society.
You kind of pissed off our Eagles, basically.
I did. Yeah, I did. They came
They
back.
came back, though.
but-
That was nice of them to come back.
yeah, but the final event was the birthday party,
Yeah.
which I think I sent to you at one point.
Yes.
Anyway, that event really sort of ingrained Kirkland in me in terms of all the little nuances that our history gives us. The development of Juanita Beach. How it used to be where everybody came on a ferry boat and danced their nights away.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have dances every single night all the way down the lake.
Is that right?
And there would be boats that we built at
Yeah.
our shipyards, and that would take people from beach to beach.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun.
It really must have been.
Wow.
But we've done things in our history that have such personality. The pig races on Lake
Wait,
Washington.
what?
Sorry, did you say
Tell us about
pig races?
that. What were the pig races?
They were part of a festival that they did. I think it might have been in the original Moss Bay days. But they literally had a race from dock to dock, and they slid pigs into the lake.
Oh, in the lake.
In the lake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy
I think
cow.
there's a couple pictures.
Oh, my gosh.
I think there's a picture actually down at Juanita Beach.
Yeah.
At
So the pigs were not running in a race.
They were swimming.
They were swimming in the race.
Pigs were swimming.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, well, who knew? Yeah, it was
So
pretty
the
fun.
deep, rich history of Kirkland, it's wonderful. And, it is kind of embodied in many ways through our council, because through that history, the council had the foresight to preserve so much of our waterfront for folks.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's been an ongoing effort from the very beginning, because we've always had waterfront parks.
Yeah.
Wasn't until Doris Cooper and Al Locke were kind of running the thing. He was our first city manager. Doris was a mayor, probably one of our longest serving mayors.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who arranged to acquire all the necklace of lakefront property.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of history in Kirkland, you, of course, are a big part of our history in so many ways. But in one interesting way, you are one half of the only married couple to ever be both mayor of the city.
Yep. Larry and I, 25 years apart.
25 years
That means
apart.
20 and 25 because he was mayor for 4 years
4
and I
years.
was mayor for 5 years.
Right. Was that
that
a
means I win.
competition?
I was like, but who's counting?
That's right.
You're always right.
The difficulty is, or not difficulty, but the challenging thing was that Larry was mayor for 9/11. And 9/11 was an incredibly challenging time for Kirkland. It was emotional. It was crazy. It was right after I had run my second 4th of July. And I know that we were looking everywhere for, we brought all the 4th of July paraphernalia out again. So we put up all the flags. We distributed flags all over the place. And I was so sad that we didn't have a flag on a T-shirt for everybody to wear. So we've never had a 4th of July T-shirt that didn't have
Have a
flags
flag
on it.
on it.
Never.
Lesson
Not
learned.
since. Yeah.
And then you were mayor through.
I was mayor through COVID, through all the racial unrest.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The lockdown of downtown. So I was mayor for a very exhausting period.
Exhausting period of time. Well, thank you for your amazing service through that time. Now, I have to say, it's just a quick side note. It's kind of an iconic image to me to see you driving around the city on your beloved Vespa. You have to tell us.
It's a Metropolitan.
That's been fun. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
The
We're gonna
Metro-
get a strongly worded
This,
letter
yes.
from our listeners.
So
at the,
tell
at
me,
Vespa.
how did that happen? That passion.
You know, I kind of always wanted to have something that I could get I don't know. Let's talk about parking.
And there you have it.
There
A strategy.
you
It's a
have it. When
strategy.
you own a business downtown, you know, after about my 700th parking ticket, it made a whole lot of sense to get around Kirkland and Bellevue and just locally to have a little scooter like that gets over 100 miles to a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh wow, nice.
So I've had a scooter now for probably my entire career on the council.
Yeah.
So I've put thousands of miles on my scooter.
Well, it's a wonderful image that we have, and
I just
thank you
always
for it.
love coming out of City Hall, and I'm like, oh,
There's-
Councilmember Sweet's here because I see your
Yeah, the Metropolitan.
Yeah, your Metropolitan just parked right there.
That's
Yeah.
great stuff.
Because
So
it can.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, because you can. So, Councilmember Sweet, let's talk a little bit about what it's like to be a council member these days.
Well,
What are you working on?
I've been a council member for 15 years.
15 years.
So I've worked on lots of different projects. The things that I've gotten really involved in are the things that are not so flowery.
Kind of the foundation of government, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, my passions have always been around things like public safety.
Yes.
I've worked really hard, been on the public safety committee as long as we had one. And then I led the efforts for the 2 levies that we passed, one for police and one for fire.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I know you worked really hard on
Yes,
this too.
yeah.
So I mean, that was a great organizational effort, and it was a great way to demonstrate the support that we have for our first responders.
Yeah, absolutely.
But oh, by the way, there are other first responders in our city, and those first responders are in our public works department.
yes, yes.
So I've stayed incredibly connected to the process around assuring that we have clean, safe water.
Yes.
The processes around whether or not we handle, take care of reuse, recycling, and solid waste. So they're not pretty, flowery things. I am not the environmentalist yet.
Yes.
Yet those 2 elements of what happens in a city, you know, if your water doesn't run, if your toilet doesn't flush,
Yeah.
if you're, and if you have nothing to do with garbage, you know, we experienced a garbage strike. God, do you remember this?
It was a while ago.
It was a while
Wow,
ago. And I think we were out for 2 weeks.
Oof.
It was
Not great.
No, it was not great.
Not great.
And you think about the horror stories that you
Yeah.
hear about New York City and places like that with 2 days
Yeah.
of garbage. It was a bad time. So assuring that those systems are working for us is actually a kind of a complicated piece of what a city council member is responsible for.
But an absolutely essential one. And that's what I mean by the kind of foundation of government. It's like public safety
Yep.
And part of that is clean water, you know?
Yeah. Well, and assuring we have it in 50 years and 100 years.
Right.
My committee, the Regional Water Quality Committee, which Mayor Curtis is on now, I timed out of it, so I now sit on the advisory group to that committee, is all about the business of how we're going to maintain our wastewater system out into the future. These are not little processes.
No.
These are billion-dollar projects that we have to be informed enough to make the right decisions for the future of our ratepayers and our citizens.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Right now, we're trying to plan the long-term disposal system for solid waste. Our landfill, it will be full by 2040. That's just around the corner.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out whether we are going to continue or how we're going to continue to deal with our disposal. Yeah. Are we going to ship it across the state? Are we going to build a $3 billion facility and do mass burn? These are huge decisions.
Issues. Big visionary questions of the future.
Yeah.
How do folks get involved if they want to stay part of that?
There will be lots of opportunity for public input as we get closer to decisions. As we come up with the final two processes, particularly for solid waste, it'll be a massive outreach to folks.
We'll put all those links in the show notes. All our connection to solid waste and water issues for folks that want to stay updated. Our websites are constantly updating with the latest information. And you're so right, Councilmember Sweet. These are big visionary questions about how we're going to lay the kind of blueprint for the future for these most essential government services.
Yeah, it's very interesting being in committees that have as much far-reaching thinking involved. And you know, it really, there's a parallel with our environment because I think that's one of the things, one of the focuses that as a member of K4C, the climate initiative, we should be paying more attention to. The important thing is, I mean, it's moving so quickly and we are deteriorating so quickly in terms of the condition of the earth that we have to have visionaries in place, and we do, God bless us, we have a council that is, I believe, one of the most forward-thinking out there because it's there's potential for a bad future if we don't pay attention.
Well stated. So we have a last question.
Councilmember Sweet, what are you watching, reading, listening to?
I'm glad you asked that question because I just started a book called The River of Doubt. And it is the story of Theodore Roosevelt's trip that he took down the Amazon. He actually explored a tributary on his own, almost died.
Oh, my goodness.
But this was after he lost his, third bid for the presidency.
Okay.
So it was a reaction to that.
This sounds amazing.
It is. It's a fabulous book. I'm really having fun with it.
Now, is it autobiographical or is it kind of biographical?
I think it's a little bit of biohistory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating, though. River of Doubt.
River of Doubt. When I think back on the kind of larger-than-life characters that built the United States of America, Teddy's one of the folks that I think of.
Yeah.
I mean, he was lover of the outdoors.
Well, and he's funny because he's kind of a back note in so many books.
Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that when I was reading about the fires, and I can't remember the name of this book, but when I was reading about the giant fire of 1911, anyway, there's a whole book about it. It was a fire that covered 4 states.
Wow.
Washington was involved in it. It took more lives than any other fire.
Jeez.
And in the background, you've got Roosevelt establishing the park system.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It's when he dedicated all this land and said, okay, this is going to be all for parks. This could be national parks.
Yeah. That's a great way to come full circle to visionary public leadership.
And making sure that we're setting aside, publicly accessible land like our lakefront parks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here in Kirkland.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're kind of a little bit like a Teddy Roosevelt government.
Yeah, that's us.
That's us. Well, Councilmember Sweet, will you stick around for our pop quiz multiple choice trivia?
Give it a shot.
We know you're a woodworker, so one of these answers is plumb and level, while the others are sawdust and shavings, which of course means we just made them up.
Okay.
So one's true, 2 are false.
One's true, 2 are false. So here we go. Option A, the proper feed direction of a hand router is in the direction the bit is spinning.
Okay.
Sounds
Wow.
Sounds like
plausible.
maps involved.
I like that. Yeah. Sounds like David's network of fans
Right.
Yes.
in the direction that they
Exactly.
are spinning. Okay, option B, unsealed Purple Heart wood is a poor choice for jewelry boxes.
That got very specific very fast.
That's
That sure did. I've never made a jewelry box.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Purple Heart wood.
Yeah.
You learn something every day.
Right.
Yep.
And option C, it's always less expensive to build it yourself. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not sure that's,
I don't know that that's
true. No,
Okay.
I'm not sure that's ever been true in my case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, those are hard questions.
They're hard questions. I mean, Purple Heart wood, I'm not sure I know what that is.
I have no idea. I didn't know there was Purple Heart wood.
This might be one of those proverbial take the dart and throw it at the.
Yes. A, B,
A,
A, B,
B,
A, B.
I've never actually looked at the way that the blade was going on the router.
Oh, so how do you know?
I just enter. You just push it through.
You push it through. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
push it through.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, the correct answer, my friends, drum roll, is B.
Purple Heart wood is
Purple Heart wood.
not
Good.
good for jewelry boxes.
Although
Okay.
it is beautiful, Purple Heart wood and oil contains neoflavonoids
Oh.
that can cause skin, eye, and respiratory irritation.
Ah.
Not good for jewelry.
Indeed.
Not
yes.
good for jewelry.
Aha.
And do not make a dining room table out of it.
Probably not.
Also
That's what
that.
I'm working on now.
That's what you're working on right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, as far as router feed direction, generally woodworkers should maintain control of the router such that the feed direction is against the rotation of the bit.
Okay.
So choose into.
So fascinating woodworking chips indeed. But did you know Kirkland and Houghton were home to multiple wooden boat builders and shipyards,
Yeah.
the largest of which area is now Carillon Point.
So thank you so much, Councilmember Sweet. This has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
You bet. This is really fun.
Thanks so much. Don't forget, our first responders and council are taking your request to visit you on National Night Out.
Yes. And that does it for this week, my friends. You've been listening to This Week in Kirkland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Special thanks to Mike Connor, Kate Ryan, Victor Durantes, and Chris Peterson for their behind-the-scenes magic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next episode is July 18th. Until then, stay connected, Kirkland.